Good evening, America. We're here with... Freddie.
And I'm with...
Caesar.
Hey, it's me again. Surprise.
For episode 69, everybody.
Or you weren't expecting me.
We were not able to find Beaver. We tried nothing. And yeah, that's how we didn't find her. We didn't reach out to her. Or I don't know about you, I didn't reach out to her.
I did.
So this is episode 69, the episode a lot of people wanted to fucking see. And an episode that some people wanted.
Nice.
And you know, since it's episode 69, I decided to bring a ghost. No alcohol today, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm drinking coffee.
Sober episode.
Hey, today should have been an episode we would have been drinking, huh?
Yeah.
Man.
You know, since it's episode 69 and a lot of people associate 69 with the 69 position.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I thought it would be very appropriate to bring up this story, Freddie.
Uh-huh.
I had this coworker.
Uh-huh.
He had long hair, like up to like probably past his shoulders. He was a guy, and he was like a white guy, you know.
Uh-huh.
And he would tie up his hair like, you know, like in a ponytail, right? Like, you know, like I don't know how the fuck you would do a ponytail, but he would tie it up with a hair tie. I think that's what you call it. The things you put, like, you know, then you just take it out and then, you know, whatever. The thing was, that wasn't the only use he had the hair ties for, Freddie.
Well, he would use them as cock rings?
Yeah, he would grab his fucking ball sack.
Ball sack?
Yeah, and then just fucking tie that shit up and then...
What?
Yeah, he would just...
Who?
Tie up his cock and balls and shit.
Who?
One of my coworkers back in the day.
Where would he do that? At work?
He would come into work like that, I assume.
Why are you assuming that?
He told me about it.
What?
Yeah.
Where at? Oh, you can't say, huh?
I'll
Just
tell you.
get that part off.
You know, everyone knows what I'm talking about. All my people from you know where. Me and Mr. X used to call him cock and balls because he would tie up his cock and balls.
Damn.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of...
For like pleasure? Like...
I guess. I don't know.
Like to walk around like...
Like, I guess that's pleasure. That seems like it's painful, but like... Yeah, why else would he do it if it wasn't like... a type of pleasure for him, right?
Yeah.
This goes back to episode 68 where I was telling you that some people go to that fucking second floor to get spanked. And like I'm telling you, I feel like most of the time it's always fucking guys that are going up to get spanked.
By a guy.
Yeah, right. Now keep in mind, I've only been there once.
You're just going to fucking gay clubs and... You know, like gay people, I mean, it's fine. It's just like, you're like, wait, it's only guys that are up there.
I think I need to make a clarification from last episode, Freddie. I said like that I didn't like the club because it felt like, oh man, if I stay here any longer, I'm gonna get my dick sucked by a guy.
Yeah.
You know, I meant that. I didn't mean that as in like, fuck, I want one of these guys to suck my dick. I meant that like, damn, I feel like. Any minute now, some dude just gonna fucking drop to his knees and pull out my cock and shit, you know? That's how it felt. Of course, I wouldn't let that happen, but I'm just saying that's what it felt like.
Yeah, you would.
Now, can you say that there are some, like, homosexual elements at that club? Oh, yeah, definitely. Way too much. But you know what's cool about that?
Yeah, so that's what it is, right? Like, gay guys going up there getting spanked and shit. It has to be.
I've never seen a girl get spanked. I've only seen guys get spanked up there. But again, I've only been there once.
We're gonna look this shit up on YouTube.
Okay, so one cool thing about this club, Freddie, was that I don't know how to describe it. Like their biggest floor, I guess. Their biggest floor had like booths. You know what a booth is, right? Like a place you could sit down and like, you know, it's like seating like this, and then like it's up against the wall. So
Booth, no.
you don't know what a booth is?
Not like a telephone booth?
No, not a telephone booth. It's fuck. I'm trying to think of somewhere.
Or like where you go in and like record vocals and shit?
No, fucking
Like when you're freestyling?
a booth. You guys know what a fucking booth is. So it's,
Comment and subscribe if you don't know what a booth is.
so they got booths, but the thing is, these booths are like goth. Like it's literally like a fucking cave and a bed or some shit.
Oh, clean.
Yeah, and I was like, oh shit, what the fuck is this? Hey, let's sit down here. But then there's like, I guess you like buy them. You know how you could buy like a.
But like as a couple or some shit, no? Like.
Oh, I'm sure it's like for a group of people or shit.
Oh, it's just like the aesthetic or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, you know, you buy a. What do you buy? A table, or you buy a bottle at like a club? You get bottle service. You get like your own little like section of the club, just for you, and like you bring friends or you bring like girls and shit. That's pretty much what it was like, except you bring like fucking vampires that like caves, I guess. So I thought that was pretty cool, and they had some shit on. You know, they had some shit on it that's like reserved for party of, you know, like Gonzalez or some shit like that. I'm just making that name up. I doubt there was a Gonzalez that was fucking there. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Would I go back? Now that I know that I need to wear black, all black, I'd be willing to go, just so I could make sure, like, is it only guys getting spanked up there? Like, hey, you guys sure there's no cameras up here? No, I don't like that shit, Freddie. I don't like getting spanked. The fuck?
Yeah, right, dude. It's fun.
There's this girl. I don't know, actually, I shouldn't say that.
Go, say it. There?
No, there's this girl back when I ran for, I'll say it. Back when I ran for, let's just say for a school I ran for. So, it was this party, right, Freddie?
Uh-huh.
And I was making out with this girl.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, she's like feeling me up and shit. Let me tell you, Freddie, I had fucking abs when I was running. When I was ranked top 10 in the state of California.
Yeah.
I had abs. And that's pretty much it. Because I was running so fucking much. But anyways, you know, she's like feeling me up and shit. And then she puts her hand under my shirt, right? Which I'm like, oh, okay, like, you know, obviously, you know, she's going to try and escalate. She's like, wow, you know, that feels hard, you know. And she keeps going up, Freddie. She keeps going up. And she like, you know, it's kind of by, like, my pecs, you know. I did do push-ups, you know. And
you did the push-ups?
I did do push-ups, yeah. So I was like, oh, she's just trying to feel like, you know, my fucking hard-ass chest, you know. And no, she's like looking for my nipples, and I'm like, what the fuck? And she's like, she's trying to pinch them, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And she looks at me all surprised, like, you don't like that? And I'm like, no, what the fuck? And she's like, no, try it here. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck off me.
That's funny.
And she brings up, she says the name of this guy that I know, like, oh, he likes it. And I'm like, well, tell him he's fucking gay. Yeah, that's when I was like, damn, you know what? I feel like there's way more fucking dudes that like that type of, oh, spank me, baby. Oh, pinch my nipples.
I don't know about spanking, but maybe, I don't know about pinch my nipples, but...
There's more people. There's more guys out there than you would think that are into that type of shit. That's when I first started thinking, like, damn, there's a lot of gay people out here. You know, see, I think this is appropriate, right? Like episode 69, I bring up these stories that are a little risque.
Oh yeah.
You know, that fucking podcast ready, Call Me Daddy.
Uh huh.
All they do is talk about getting fucked by guys, and fucking Kamala Harris went on that shit.
Damn, have you seen that episode?
No, they took it down.
We gotta
From
find
what I
that
understand.
shit.
Which reminds me, Freddie.
They gotta get us on their podcast.
I think they only have women.
Oh, for real?
I think so, yeah.
Oh.
So I fucking I mentioned that me and Mr. X go to like a lot of, I don't know what you would call it. I think I said this in the other episode as well. They're venues. I would say a venue with like multiple floors, like maybe a basement, a ground floor, and then like a second floor. But they're all like different themed. You know, like, oh, if you want to listen to you know, techno music, go to the basement. If you want to listen to like indie, go to the ground floor. If you want to listen to like 80s music, go to the, you know, second floor. So there's a place
that I know.
There's a place called, I'm not gonna say what it's called actually. I do remember what it's called. But we met, or no, we know some girl that works there. Me and Mr. X know some girl that like works there on some days. And you're probably wondering, like, what, you know a girl? You know? Surprisingly, yes, right? Surprisingly, yes. But, yeah, so this...
From some club?
We met her at a bar.
Oh.
We met her sister, and, like, her friends at a bar. And, yeah, I think Mr. X exchanged, like, contact information with, like, one of them. And he, like, sometimes, like, hits them up in regards to, like, the venue that I'm telling you about, or, like, other shit. Because she's, like, very, I don't want to say the word social. Yeah, she seems social, but she's, like, very in, like, she's on top of everything in terms of, like, oh, yeah, are you going to go to this? You know, this thing is going to fucking come out this month. You want to come? Shit like that. Like, she's in the know. That's what I'm trying to say. So, let's just say she's not my type of girl. I think that should tell you enough. You know? And we got invited to one of her parties one time. Me and Mr. X. And it was surprisingly, you know, I don't think she'll ever see this. It was really not that great. It was like, I was like, damn, I thought there was going to be like one, more people, two.
Where was it at, like her house or some shit?
Yeah, it was at her house. It was a nice house. I'll give her that, yeah. I don't want to give out too much information about that, but like, yeah, it was a nice area, nice house. You could pretty much put the music as loud as you want, except that the music was all shitty. And it was like a...
It was like a kickback or something?
No, it was a party. It was some girl's like 23rd birthday party, 23rd, 24th, some shit like that. And
her family was there?
No, it was just her sister, and like they invited their friends and shit. And Miss Rex got invited. And so we went, right?
Yeah.
And it was like underwhelming, to say the
most.
Yeah. I was like, damn, okay, like this is not what I expected, but you know, okay, let's just try and have a good time, I guess. So me and Mr. X pretty much got really fucking drunk, because we were like, well, what else are we gonna do now? You know, like, might as well, fuck it. This was when I was still pretty new to no sleeping, so
this fool.
Yeah, I was barely embracing my vampire lifestyle. I don't remember if I, like, you know. No, you know what? Yeah, I think I just fell asleep. I think I just fell asleep. So I was laying down at the couch. Like I got all comfortable and it was cold. It was cold, Freddie. It was a fucking very cold night. And I remember I just had like this, thin, long sleeve red shirt pretty much. I look good though. I look good. And Mr. X, he I forgot what he brought, but he was warmer than me. He brought like an actual jacket, I think.
Uh-huh.
And I remember I was like, you're gonna get fucking hot in that, idiot. Like, why are you bringing like, it's a fucking party. It's gonna be packed. Yeah, I was fucking wrong. But yeah, we were sitting down on the couch, Freddie, and Mr. X was just filming. He was having a blast, just fucking filming, like, everything. And I was like, fuck, let's go home already. Shit, I want to fucking leave. And I decided, like, you know what, I'm just gonna fucking chill here on the couch, knock out a bit. I get all comfortable, and I'm drunk too, remember. I fucking fall asleep, like, all fucking good and quick. And Mr. X, I don't remember if it was the birthday girl. No, I don't think it was the birthday girl. I think it was, like, the sister or some shit. The sister is, like, filming a video with Mr. X. Like, so let's say you're me, Mr. X is here, and the sister is right here in the middle. And Mr. X is like, yeah, like, and he's just fucking filming. And the girl's like, yeah, whatever. And I don't remember if Mr. X said this or she just fucking did this on her own.
She said you got your nipples or shit.
Mr. X, he might have said like, oh, hey, where's my friend? Oh, hey, give him. And she's like, where's your friend? Like, I guess looking for me even though I'm right there. And again, I'm just knocked out like this. And
you were knocked out while they were leaving?
Yeah, I was knocked out. I was literally next to them. And this girl, she turns around and she's like, she grabs me and she fucking tries to pull me in. And this is like just fucking my vampire instincts ready. I was like, ooh. I just fucking moved my head. That Floyd Mayweather head movement and shit. I was like, ooh.
Oh, she was ugly?
Oh. I'll show you the video. I think I still have
it. But either way, how you know she was, it's like, oh, what the fuck is...
I was like, I'm so proud of that. I was like, even fucked up and asleep, I still, I have my fucking...
you probably weren't even asleep, fool.
I was knocked out, yeah.
You probably blacked out, but you were probably pretending, like, at that point. You're like, oh, I'm tired, I'm over this shit. I'm just pretend.
I was like, God damn, let's fucking... No, so I didn't know about it until the next day. Like, Mr. X was like teasing me about that shit, like, oh, you fucking drunk bitch, you almost made out with that one girl. And I was like, what the fuck? I don't remember that. When did this happen? And, he's like, oh, I got it on tape. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, I don't remember getting that fucking sloppy drunk, like, And then he shows me the video. I'm like, oh, thank gosh, that's what you meant.
Oh, you thought you were gonna be all up on her and shit?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? She didn't even look drunk, so I'm like, look at you trying to take advantage of a fucking guy that's asleep and shit. But yeah, I remember. I was very proud of that video, Freddie. I was like, hell yeah. You know me.
You're gonna show it to me right now, no?
I'll show you after this.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I figured why not bring that story up, because again, I was gonna say Mr. X. Call Her Daddy. It's pretty much just fucking girls talking about how they like to get fucked.
Yeah.
I don't even think there's any humor in it. I think they just...
This was just hating.
Oh yeah, I am hating. Yeah, let this be very abundantly clear. I am hating right now. There's no humor in it. There's no payoff. It's like, oh yeah.
Well, like there's probably humor that they understand. Like
I think the humor is
within themselves. Like.
I think maybe like, oh yeah, that's relatable. Like when the guy like farts when you're like fingering his ass or some shit like that. Like I think there's an element of that. Oh, that's so relatable.
Why they said that?
No, I'm just like thinking of like some way that some girl could be like, oh wow, yeah, I know. I thought I was the only one that like, knew about that.
Like that's what they would do to you and shit?
No, I don't do that. I'm saying that this is what I would think if it. God damn it.
What's it called?
I would think that if it does depend on humor, that's the type of humor that's like, wow, girl, like, same, Because, yeah, girl humor and guy humor is different. But I think, this is what I think, Freddie, that the humor in that podcast.
But you see it as like less than and shit.
Oh, yeah, fuck yeah. That's fucking. Just like that. Have you ever seen all those, like jokes about, like, British humor? How British humor is. Okay, well, fuck. It's gonna be hard to explain though. But Americans make fun of British humor because it's like. It's weird.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
So, this is maybe a better compare and contrast type of thing as opposed to two different nationalities, two different genders. Since it's still, I'm pretty sure Call Her Daddy is an American-based podcast.
But like for example, like you can't provide an example. You just said like.
No, because I don't watch it, but I've seen clips of it where it's literally just girls talking about how like they like sucking dick or like playing with balls. And how some guys are different that they don't want to get their balls played with or anything.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I think the humor comes from the absurdity of like hearing like, oh yeah, like I was sucking this guy's dick, and it's coming from like a girl as opposed to like, oh, I had this girl sucking my dick last night. It's like what?
I don't know, like.
The humor comes from girls acting like guys on camera. I think that's what is the selling point. I could be wrong. I don't watch that shit because it just, again, I think it's catered to like women, and that just doesn't get my attention.
Yeah, like, I don't understand like what you mean by girls acting like guys and shit.
When you think
like,
of a guy,
probably like when girls are with themselves, like that's the type of shit they be talking about,
Mm-hmm.
It's not like all girls are just like, oh, like let's just be like pure in front of our friends, like like we can't. This is all taboo stuff to talk about, like when they're with their friends, that's what probably they be talking about, just like when we're with our friends, that's what we be talking about. So it's just like normal for them to kind of record it,
I want to say
and it's not like they're trying to be like guys and shit. It's as normal for them to record it as it is for anybody else to record their conversations. And I wouldn't be like, oh, like they're trying to be guys or whatever. Like.
No, I'm saying that's the humor in it. That's the humor that comes from it. Because I don't think there's any payoff in the end. I'm saying that, oh, okay, we're gonna talk about the dirty in explicit detail. I could talk about.
Well, I'm sure like the people that listen to them, that's like not the only thing they listen to them to.
I'm sure they listen to it because the guest, they get certain people that I'm sure have some influence, like Kamala. But what I'm saying is, to a degree, yes, it is funny, but I don't. This is what I always tell my coworkers. Like, anytime I've ever talked about a girl, I've never talked about like, oh, I was fucking her and pussy. I had her like down here, bent over. I've never gotten into explicit detail, anything like that. The most I ever say, like, oh yeah, we banged. Specifically,
but there's fools that do it, a lot of fools like.
No. But what I'm saying is that my stories and the humor that come from my stories have a payoff at the end. It doesn't require me to get into explicit detail like, oh yeah, I was fucking her in this angle and then I arched her back and you should have seen her, the way she put. It's nothing like pornographic. It's a setup to get to the punchline. But in Call Her Daddy, I don't know if there is a punchline. I would think that it's mostly just, wow, this is crazy. People are saying this. Like, girls are saying this on air.
like let's say like you get over that, you know, and then you just listen to it to be like, okay, like yeah, but like I guess you're still not desensitized to the fact that girls could talk about that on air. Not that they could, but that they do, right? Like to you, it's still like, or to people, like it's still like, oh, like what the fuck, you know? So it's like, so since you might see it as like, you might think it's like for shock value or something, but then like
That's a
the
good way to
people
put
that
it,
are
yeah.
already desensitized to that part and are like, oh yeah, like this is the kind of shit like that I can relate to, and they're listening to it that because they're not because they expect shock value every time, you know.
Yeah, that's what I said. That the whole, oh wow, he farts when he fingers his asshole too. That's so relatable. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking if it's not what I'm saying, it's
Like
probably
you
that.
make that up. That's not.
Yeah, nah.
That probably
I
maybe
would
they
think
said something like that.
I would think that the people that find it funny are probably there because the absurdity of it, the shock value. But if you had to ask me, then yeah, okay, there's probably some degree of relatability where a girl is like, wow, I remember I was hooking up with some guy and I queefed when he was fucking me like that too. Some shit like that. Where it's like, wow, relatable, same.
Yeah, but then it's not like that's the only reason, right? It's like multifaceted. Like
I'm sure there's many
like if
reasons.
somebody's listening to your podcast, it's not just because they like you did something that they can relate to, you know, or the shock value, right? Like you said, you don't do that, right? But like everything is not just because like, oh yeah, yeah, I can relate to fucking
No,
this
I'm
fool
sure that there's multiple reasons why
going to
some.
a goth club. Oh yeah, I relate to that. Like you're not hearing it. Like they're not hearing your stories to like be like, oh that I went through that. Or they're just like hearing your stories, you know.
Yeah, I think
Just like I'm sure it is with them. They're not like, oh yeah, like just because I can relate to this sex shit.
so. I think I'm a pretty good storyteller, and I think that's why people like my stories. Sometimes I would tell stories that were very family friendly, and I still have people's attention, as opposed to the ones that are more risque, if you will, which still don't have any shock value. Let me just throw that out there. So I'm sure that yeah, people listen to podcasts not just Call Her Daddy because of the shock value or because of relatability, but what I'm saying that the main audience and the main, oh, let me pull you in because of the shock value. Because there's no other podcast that I know that's like top 10 or like top 25 that covers that issue. If you look at the like top 10 podcasts, it's literally just male dominated. It's either like
Who are they?
Joe Rogan's up there, obviously, some guy named some Navy SEAL guy. I think your boy.
Huberman?
Nah.
Navy
Huberman's
SEAL.
up there too, I think. So it's
My
pretty
boy
much
who? Kyle Kalinske?
no.
David Pacman?
No.
Majority Report?
Fuck, what's his name? The guy that sells insurance.
Patrick with David?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, that guy. I think he's up there. So
Entertainment.
I'm sure people, that listen to Joe Rogan originally were people that, like just like hearing good conversations with people that were more, what's the word? I don't want to say obscure, but that's the best word I could think of right now. You weren't going to hear people that are talking about mushrooms and shit.
Yeah, you were.
In the mainstream back then, no.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I'm saying that back then.
What
Joe
do you
Rogan was
mean?
pretty much what was people's introduction to what, like DMT, that kind of brought it into the mainstream, you could say. In terms of fuck, what's that guy's name? Terrence McKenna. The fucking
Yeah, Terrence. Yeah, that fool
Like
has
this-
like some speeches and shit.
yeah, I would say that Joe Rogan was a big proponent in bringing.
He introduced him? He's dead?
No, what I'm saying is that
Terrence McKenna, is he dead?
okay, I'm trying to fucking speed through this shit. Okay, Joe Rogan had an original fan base. He started off as one type of person. As time progressed, as he got bigger, I don't want to say he rebranded, but he became a different person, and his podcast became something else, something that is almost not identical to what it was when I discovered him, when a lot of people that first discovered him. So now it's a completely different thing, and it seems to continue going that route. What we see here, Freddie just put Call Her Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, I've always said that I don't watch her shit. I've only seen clips from like channels that do commentary on podcast channels, and when I found out that Kamala was on it because of the whole Trump thing, Trump going on Joe Rogan, I checked it out because I've heard of Call Her Daddy, and I heard that was like one of the most successful female podcasts. So it stuck in my head. When I found out Kamala went on it, I wondered, what was it like? Because with Trump, it was filled with so much support in the comments.
With Joe Rogan? Or?
Yeah.
Oh.
Joe kind of just let him talk. It didn't seem like scripted or anything.
I didn't watch that one.
You should watch
I watched the one with the other fool, Theo Von.
So now, the clips that I've seen about Call Her Daddy, again, it's a YouTube channel that does commentary on YouTube channels. So I wouldn't be surprised if they select the most absurd clips. Oh, I was sucking this guy's dick and then he peed in my mouth. Some shit like that.
Like trying to make him look bad on like.
Yeah. Now, is that what Call Her Daddy was in the beginning? From what I understand, yeah, every channel that I've heard talking about them, any type of situation where someone brings up Call Her Daddy, that's what people usually bring up. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's the one where girls talk about getting fucked. Mm-hmm. Now, did it begin like that the same way that Joe Rogan started, where he was just like an open-minded guy that wanted to have a conversation with, oh wow, this guy studies mushrooms, oh wow, this guy's a geologist that thinks he discovered new Earth, let's give him a platform, let's talk, let's have a good time? Did Call Her Daddy start off as, oh, let me bring in this girl that like wants to talk about like, oh, I hooked up with this guy last weekend and let me tell you, did it start off like that, and then eventually it gained steam, so much steam that she was able to have a presidential candidate, Kamala Harris, come on, and after that,
Kamala.
What'd I say?
Kamala
Harris. Why else would she go on that podcast? Why would Trump go on Joe's podcast? Because Joe has a lot of pull. Like I told you, Call Her Daddy is top 10 podcast worldwide, right? You're not gonna go on ImWithCesar to fucking reach all of America yet. So you would go to one of these podcasts. Either Trump would most likely go on fucking Rogan, because now Rogan, since COVID, has been more associated with like the far right. Call Her Daddy, I mean, I think the way you're saying it, right? Like it seems like you're more into not fitting into gender roles, right? As in, this isn't a guy thing where guys only talk about fucking, girls could do it too, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, so that's more of an idea associated with like the left than the right. So it would make sense that this podcast, Call Her Daddy, sure, it started off as something like, I was sucking this dick, but now it's elevated to the point where it's like, okay.
But see, like, that's what you don't know.
I don't know that, but what I'm saying is Joe started like this, and these clips, I mean, I'll pull up the channels that I'm telling you about, but these were like from different episodes. Like, and everyone that brings up this podcast always brings up that's pretty much what the podcast is about. Now has it taken a different what's the word I'm looking for, Freddie?
But why were you talking about Joe Rogan's podcast? Like,
because Joe started off as one thing, but now ever since he got so big, he's become a different thing that almost does not resemble anything that he was in the beginning, which I guess makes sense because again, he got so big. I guess money, I don't know, money talks. Money changes your perspective or whatever. Your tax brackets and everything. With Call Her Daddy, yeah, she might have started off as that, as the way that, the commentary channels
claim that she's there.
Yeah, but now she's gone a different route because obviously she has Washington connections. Washington D.C. political connections with powerful people, you know. So are you gonna continue doing like fucking what you were originally doing, or are you gonna like maybe go with what seems to give you the most pull? You know, like, oh wow, I was able to get the presidential candidate on this podcast. Hey, how about we take a more analytical and serious approach to things that are still relatable to our primary audience, women.
But like, what are we getting at? Like,
from the beginning, you said that I've never seen the podcast, but I'm just hating. Let me make it clear. I did say I was abundantly. Let me make it abundantly clear that yes, I was just hating. But what I'm saying is that my idea is, why would someone watch that podcast? I'm guessing because yes, the relatability, you know.
But like, what are you like? Like, why did we bring up that and Joe Rogan and?
Because podcasts change. Like, Joe was something first, but now he's something else. So yes, Call Her Daddy might have been like Joe, where she was something at first, but now she's something else, as you can see because you pulled up the episode.
Yeah. But like, I still don't like. I don't understand. Like, what were we like? What were we relating that to?
The relatability?
No, like, why were we talking about that? Like, how did we start talking about Joe Rogan and?
Because you brought up relatability.
I brought up relatability?
Yeah, you said like, oh, you don't even know if it's funny, and I told you, yeah, I don't, because it's not like catered towards me.
No.
I can't relate.
I was saying because you were saying something about the humor of it.
Yeah, I can't relate to the humor of it. It's different.
Yeah. No, but like, why did at that point you were already talking about them, right?
Yeah.
Well, why?
Like, because the humor doesn't. There's no relatability factor with me. Just the way that I told you that, like, in some cartoons.
Okay, maybe because we were saying something about we're on episode 69. So then you want to say risque shit, and somehow like we started talking about that, right?
Yeah. So that was the beginning of the risque talk. But what you're talking about is how we brought up the humor of it because of the relatability. I told you that I would think that the humor is either because of the shock value, or because some girls are gonna find it relatable. And be like, oh wow, like yeah, that's happened to me before too.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that's why I can't relate to it. And for me, I don't
like right now that we were watching the Monica Lewinsky interview. Like, you wouldn't watch that?
No.
Like, I would watch that shit.
Yeah, but you're into politics. That's the thing.
It's not even about politics. Like, she's not like a political figure. Like,
it's very political. It includes what?
No, yeah, it was like a, what's it called? Like a fucking
political scandal.
Yeah, a scandal. But it's not because like it's a political thing because of their political positions. It's because it was a sex scandal, right? So it's just like an interesting thing to kind of learn about. And I guess
I think it's interesting. Yeah, definitely.
But it's not because it's political, right? That's not why I would listen to it.
I'm sure she has people on that.
I mean, to that specific interview, like another interview, I might not even want to watch it, you know?
But why is it that you picked that one? Is it because it's...
Well, that one was 7 days ago. It was like the most recent
one. Yeah. But that name also carries a story. Monica Lewinsky already. So you kind of know what...
Like, I thought she was I thought she was like old as hell. Like, I thought she was like Hillary Clinton looking, but like she looked like older, but you know, like way younger. I was like, what the fuck, like.
So yeah, I it's interesting, definitely. Even if you take away the political factor, the
fact that it was the president.
yeah.
Well, yeah, that's probably what makes it like more.
It has more pull factor to it as opposed to, hey, this happened at your local McDonald's. The manager was taking advantage of the new hire.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Are you saying it's a power play It's just that one is just more politically influential, if you will.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The president compared to a McDonald's manager.
Uh-huh.
One obviously has more power. One has more power in like the real world. One has more power in politics. The other one just kind of, I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong, but has just control of your job, the manager.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Do you think that you would watch an episode, same format?
Uh-huh.
They bring in a McDonald's worker. This happened to me.
I mean, I watched a lot of shit like that sometimes on YouTube, like.
But you clicked Monica Lewinsky because it was
because
the most recent and because he thought she was dead. So the name.
No, not because I thought she was dead. That was just an afterthought. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize like she was still around, like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it was because you brought up Call Her Daddy, so then I'm like, oh, wait up, let me see why this was hating on there so much. So fucking put the first video that popped up was Monica Lewinsky, and then it was like, oh shit, kind of trip out, whatever. Put it, and it was like, yeah, we could have heard it, you know, like later on I'll probably listen to the rest of it, you know, and then fucking, but yeah, that's why I put that one.
And to go back with the relatability thing, no, I still wouldn't watch it. I'm just not into that type of stuff.
Okay, so then like if it was a McDonald's person, like
I still wouldn't watch
if
it.
it was like a local one, I probably would watch it, especially if it's local, you know, like, oh, this shit happened over here at the local McDonald's.
If it's local, then yeah, it's different because it's close to home.
Or even like a bunch of like fucking videos that are just like fucking what's it called, like when they talk about that stuff, you know, like I mean, I consume a lot of content, you know, so I can't.
So everything has a pull factor to it. The name Monica Lewinsky has a pull factor to it. There's a reason that she put Monica Lewinsky. You know, there's a reason. I'm sure. Was the thumbnail Monica Lewinsky in the?
I don't even know.
Okay, so whether it's her decision or her like people's decision,
there's probably Bill Clinton and shit.
They're not dumb. They know that the name has a pull factor to it. I think there's an actual term, but
yeah, but what about
like
it?
A hook almost.
What about it?
It's gonna get people's attention.
Yeah, but what about that? Like, what are we talking about? That, like, is that something you're trying to do, or like?
No, I'm very neutral in that. I just put the guest name, no description on the thumbnail or anything like that. Which is how Joe Rogan does it. That's actually why I did it that way, because Joe Rogan was the one that I looked up to in terms of podcasting. This is going to be a fucking pain in the ass to upload, because it's already going to be like fucking 45 minutes.
Part 2.
No, fuck that.
Episode 69, part 2 next week.
You got anything to say before we fucking...
Want to shout out Ricardo?
Oh yeah, thank you for the comment, Ricky. Cocula. You want to explain?
Yeah, so it's just a Spanish thing. He looked it up. It's Cocula. It's like I think a Spanish town. It's a soccer team shirt. Not mine. I'm not in that team. Somebody let me have that shirt.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this was Ghost, first sober episode.
My coffee.
Episode 69. How did I look here? I changed the angle of the light. So I guess we'll see how I look.
Cheers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, tune in to the next episode. We might have beer.
Yeah.